Gear up for an enlightening interview with Nicolas Regina, the CEO and founder of Spark Financial Group and a co-host of What Would It Cost podcast. With a career as experienced mortgage broker and the passion for exploring diverse cultures, Nick's journey is truly captivating. Join us as we explore his transition from exhilarating nightlife industry to his current role in finance. Brace yourself for insightful conversations about mechanics of solid business model, the courage needed to bounce back from life curveballs, and the wisdom of teaming up with experts for a shot at success. Nick is a true entertainer, so tune in for an exclusive look into his journey to the top. I'm Matt Mack, and I welcome you to Bloody Mavericks, where sanity takes a back seat. Buonasera, Nick Regina. Welcome on the show.
Very well done, brother. That was an awesome intro, and I would like to start and say thank you. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here. You're an absolute gentleman. Your wife is awesome. And as soon as I was greeted outside and walked in through the doors and the Italian music playing and the way you showed hospitality, the espresso that you put on, and now look at this set, man. This is by far and most definitely the best set that I've been on. So awesome. I feel grateful and honored to be here, and thank you for the warm intro.
Thank you so much. It means a lot coming from you, being a host of pretty successful podcasts yourself, and great entrepreneur and the go-getter. Yeah, definitely. We went through different conversations before, and you definitely know how to solve problems in an easy and fun way.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool.
I like that.
Nick, let's start with your background.
Yeah. Okay.
So you are a Canadian.
Yes.
And you've got totally Italian background. Or is there anything else besides Italian?
Yes. So that's a loaded question, because now there's technology like that ancestry stuff out there, right? So I'm not 100% sure, but as far as I know, I'm 100% Italian.
Amazing.
Parents born and raised. Mother was born in Italy, and then came here when she was very young on a boat and was raised here. And like I was telling you about at the entrance, I'm quite certain that my father was born here when he was very young. Yeah. However, his family and siblings had all immigrated over here, right?
All right.
So, what would you call that? Second generation then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So second generation, right?
Cool.
Very, very proud of my cultural background. Grandparents worked very, very hard when they first got here. Both of my grandparents were in the grocery business, right? They were very, very hard workers and just did their best to provide, keep a roof over their family's head and put some food on the table and make sure that their kids were always safe. I guess I did different life, right? Did totally different life. I remember the stories that they told me when they were younger and growing up were just like, it felt like it was a world away, that life, that they had lived. And I have so much respect for them, and very similar to your story on how you're the first generation here, right? And what that takes in regards to strength and courage and not knowing what's on the other side, and not having any family here, not speaking the language, right? Not having an ecosystem to be able to plug into, man, I tip my hat to all the first generation people, and say that really takes a lot from them, and you different level of respect for them for sure.
It is definitely a special type of a character, I would say. But what you mentioned with your grandparents and your parents even making that leap of faith and going to completely new country is a little bit different back then, especially grandparents, because they most of the time during that time they were probably running from the war as well. Than us living in a free world, free society where we can actually do that leap of faith with already some kind of planning, and we have the background of language, right? It's way easier. I cannot compare myself to the generations before, because it was completely different ball game.
Right. It's still ballsy what you're doing. Don't give yourself a little bit of credit. But yes, I understand that. Yeah.
So let's since we've been on, since we are on this topic on Italian food or on Italian culture, my guess for the really Italian good cuisine, I would say, started today with some bruschetta, and gnocchi, which smells amazing. I don't know what you can say.
My mouth is watering. That's
how it should be. And we've got also some tiramisu.
Yeah, that was awesome. I seen that. That's so cool. We even get to have dessert. Check that out.
Right.
It's appetizer, main, and dessert. Come on, what a treat. What other podcasts are you gonna get this on, man?
I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, it's gonna inspire some more people to share the culture like that. Because, like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when in terms of culture? If someone would ask you, okay, share with me
food.
Something.
Yeah, 100% food. Yeah.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's what you think of right away, food, yeah.
This is cool, again a kind of inspiration what we have here today to people who are going to be watching, that like go outside of your comfort zone and try things which are amazing in other cultures. Yeah. I know a lot of people already appreciate Italian food because it's so great, it's amazing, and a lot of people know it. Like, a lot of people say that their national dish is a pizza. So which is a big dishonor to Italians or doing different things with pastas, which is a profanation of of proper pasta that is made there. But
very cool compliment. Yeah, for sure. And you know what? As they say, imitation is the most elite form of flattery. Yeah, right.
It is.
So that's all good. Make claim to it.
That's right.
Right on, man. I'm gonna put a little bit of pasta in here too, no?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. We're banging this all out. Wow, this looks delicious, bro. My wife loves gnocchi.
Oh yeah?
She's gonna be jealous. Yeah. There you go, sir.
Your wife is Italian as well? Bon appetit. Yeah. How is Italian?
My Italian, not good.
No?
I wish I learned how to speak it. I didn't. And my grandparents always got mad at my parents.
Oh yeah.
For not teaching us. And I think it's a beautiful language. I've heard my grandparents speak it, obviously, to my parents at family functions and when I was around them. And they picked up on English. My grandmothers got fluent with English, and they really picked up the language and did well with it, where my grandfathers didn't so much.
Okay.
So I didn't have too much communication with my grandfather on my mother's side because of that. And I look back, and he's not here anymore, God rest his soul, and I look back at that and I say, I no regrets, but I wish I could have had a conversation with him and had a little bit of a better understanding for there's him as an overall person, Yeah. But it was always just smiling and hugging and kissing and, a little bit of English that he did was stay out of trouble, go to work hard, right? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And eat. They always want you to eat, right?
Oh, yeah. That's the part of I would say, European culture, where you always need to be fed and properly and be happy because of that, right?
Yeah. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, you would know about this more than I would, but I think that stems from them being uncertain if they were going to eat that night or not, right? They'd be so lucky if they had some bread for dinner, right? So it's almost like that's a luxury to them, right? That's where it stems from. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I get it. Like, you want me to eat, but like, it's all good.
Yeah, it's the kind of eating where you basically lose yourself in it, and then you barely can walk.
Yeah,
afterwards, right?
exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's definitely in Europe. It has been all about the wars, different type of wars, because we had the First World War, Second World War, but before that there were constant movements of countries. Country borders were being moved. Constant wars in between one or another or multiple countries.
Yeah.
And during the war, everything goes to the front, right? So how much is left to the families that stay?
Yeah.
Or if the front is coming through, like you never know what next day gonna come, if you're gonna even survive. What about not even mentioning making crops or planning for future, right? If you are during the occupation or fight.
Right. Yeah, no, makes sense. Makes sense. This is delicious, by the way.
It is?
Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10, bro.
I love gnocchi. It's amazing.
This is too good. Yeah, very good.
I'm
Pretty
a
good
big
job.
fan.
Whoever cooked it with love, Maddie.
Oh yeah.
Right? You could taste it. You could taste the love in the sauce.
Apparently, the tiramisu that you have in front is made by a mother of the owner of the restaurant that I picked it up.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah.
That's a homemade tiramisu. Wow.
How's your bruschetta?
Very good. Yeah. So tasty. That's what I love about, to go to your point, trying a lot of different cultures, cuisines. It's like different flavors, different spices, different ways that it hits you, you know? It's
That's
like,
right.
oof. So it's nice, right? But yeah, you can never go wrong with some bruschetta and gnocchi, bro.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
And no matter how many times I eat it throughout the days, the weeks, the years, it's just that always hits just as nice as the last time, you know? Yeah.
And it's definitely homemade style.
Beautiful.
Delicious.
Yeah, really is, man.
So on my end, shout out to Grazie restaurant on Eglinton and Young.
Right on.
They do it pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, big shout out to Grazie.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to pop in there and do a dinner with the wifey one day soon. We should take the wives though.
Oh yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That sounds great. And your wife is Italian as well? Italian background?
Half Italian, half Ecuadorian.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a nice mix. And her grandparents were first generation here. Then her mother second. And her father was actually born in Ecuador.
Okay.
And he moved here. So yeah, I think it's a cool mix. I like
It
it.
is.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, and I guess that'd make my kids, because I got 3 little kids right now.
Yep.
But that'd make them a quarter, right?
True.
Quarter Ecuadorian, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Bigger
So,
part
yeah.
on Italian side still.
Yeah.
Bigger influence there.
And you know what? It's we haven't been, but I'd love to go. I'd love to visit one day her dad's homeland. I gotta ask him. Maybe he'll take me. He likes me. Took me a few years to break him in, but I broke him in.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Usually takes some time, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Daddy's little girl, right?
That's right. For
It's gonna
sure.
take. I don't know if I'll ever get broken in from my girls. No, I'll be a cool dad.
Oh yeah.
I'll be a cool dad. Just, you know what it is? I feel like if you're really in touch, in tuned, and you have your finger on the pulse with your kids, and you're in their lives in a big way,
Yeah.
you know what's going on for the most part, you know, and that it's such a nice feeling to have, I guess, as they get older,
Yeah.
right? To just know what's up, right? What their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, who they're hanging out with, what's going on there, right? And I know her dad probably, like at first, was just, you know, like any typical father would be, right? Put up that safeguard, put a little bit of that wall up, right? And it just takes a little while to break through and for them to sense that, okay, this guy's a good guy. He's cool, right. You know what I mean? He's going to be able to support my daughter. He's going to be able to love her. He's going to be able to, you know, just have it be that she has a good life, right?
That's the kind of family love going through the male.
Yeah.
Man of the family, or that kind of way. Like I remember myself even trying to protect my younger sister at some point as well, like being unsure of her boyfriends and all of that, like being like, nope.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Know your place, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
This kind of attitude, but exactly. It's coming from love, right? And
all love, yeah.
And just caring for another person. And I can
15 years.
15 years?
I've been with her.
Wow. That's
5 or 6 years married.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? 2018. 6 years married. 15 years together. So 9 years dating.
Yeah.
I started dating her when I was 19.
Wow.
She was 18.
Mm.
Yeah, she's seen me through the thick and thin, man. I used to be a tradesman before. Yep. I was an electrician, so I was in the trades, and then I moved into hospitality and promotions, and then worked my way up into buying the nightclubs and filling them up, and then throwing big scale events.
Yeah.
And then even out of it, right now into the finance industry. But she's seen me through the journey, right? And she stuck by my side, which I found was very cool. And I remember too, like, big transition from the job sites and the trades, being around guys.
It's a completely different story. You are going between one completely different way of living and going after job, then to the event space, and now to finance. It's like 3 different sectors, completely different way.
And she see me through it, and yeah, man, I love my wife. She's awesome. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that I've put her through. I don't know. I've asked her I've asked her a bunch of times, like, why the hell did you stick it out with me? You know, and we have a laugh about it all the time. But she's cool. She's my rock, and we definitely are gonna live out the rest of our lives together. You know, and make sure we have a good time while doing so.
That's the most important thing, to kind of make sure that you guys are good together. It's same me and Kat, my wife. It's like it's thick and thin, and some ups and downs, and one month she want to divorce me, another month I cannot get rid of her. So it goes both ways, right? And it's that's the journey, and just sticking out through all this, and just making sure that you want to get all together.
Yeah, sure, bro.
That's the beautiful part about it, right?
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah. It's not all rainbows and lollipops, eh, Maddie?
No. I don't know. It definitely is not. And I would add to that being an entrepreneur, you know the best, that in the tough times you build your grit, you build your strength, and you can use it to your advantage later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, the stuff that we got to go through, and the thick skin that we build, for sure. Different level of respect that I have for a lot of entrepreneurs that have been in the space for many years, you know, just because without even saying anything to them, you just know what they went through, because you're going through it, or you went through it, and it's not easy, right? And it takes a lot to continue to power through, right? But when you get out on the other end, and when you figure it out, and when you have a good understanding for the space overall, then it gets really fun.
Yeah.
And there's always a level of fun to it, but when you kind of just figure it out, you have a lot of fun. That just doesn't make it seem like work every day. Like, I open my eyes in the morning, man, And like, I got a little grin on my face these days. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, let's get it. Let's get the day,
I don't know that you don't have a grin on your face. That's one of your core features, I would say, that you always are in a happy mood out there.
Yeah, I try for sure, man. Staying in that high vibrational state is big to me, you know? I have a life coach and we do a lot of work together, and I'm surrounded by an awesome group of people in a personal development space that I'm very grateful for. And, you know, they've really taught me a lot, and coaches really taught me a lot about what I know and how to maintain it, you know. But definitely feeling really, really inspired and grateful these days, for sure. Yeah.
So on that note, like, what made you to look deeper in self-development and like making sure, what drove you to thinking about keep staying positive and being on that good note, high vibration, as you mentioned before? Like, what was the breaking point for you?
Yeah, so coming out of the nightlife industry, right, there was just a lot of challenges with that, because I knew the space so well, and I knew how to make money, and I had been in it for 12 years, so I really knew what I was doing, and I had developed a solid ecosystem that you know, everyone had known me for doing good business, and it was easy to make things work, whether I was buying another nightclub and opening it and slamming it, or, you know, putting on my New Year's event that I'd do every year and it would sell out at 5,000 people, or whether I was consulting another business, or my marketing agency was pumping out lots of work. And not only was it servicing my internal clubs and events and programs, but we started to take on work from the public, right? So all these things, like the business started to do really well. Like at that point, we had over 120 people that worked for us, and we had a portfolio that was performing over $15 million a year in revenue. So it was good, right? And then that all kind of just was going to come to an end, because I had to get out if I wanted to be the best possible dad that I think I could be, right? And so there was a new priority in my life. And my new priority and my why was my kids. And I knew that with that industry and me having to, you know, always be on the weekends or on evenings, and it being very demanding of me, even during the day, you know, on the operations side of things, it was going to be impossible to be around as much as I wanted to be for my kids. So for me, that was a no-brainer. That it was like, okay, my kids are first, and yes, my career and me building my business and portfolio is a second, but it's a far second. It's not even a close. So it's like that decision of having to jump out of that industry and into something totally new, to go to your point a little earlier, the finance sector, was like, it was very tough, right? To get out and to make it. So when going through all that, right, I needed assistance, right? I needed someone who had done it before. I needed someone who was not only had done it, but was successful doing it. And someone who really kicked a lot of butt in my old industry in nightlife and hospitality, whose name was Zarek Fatah, who is my life coach. He's a life transformation coach, and he works with male entrepreneurs and CEOs. So I was listening to a lot of his podcasts, like we were talking about a little earlier, and following him on the socials. And I was like, man, that guy's got it going on. And he did it. He made the leap. And he not only did he make the leap, but he made the leap the way I made the leap, in regards to something so different. Like, you're going from nightclubs to personal development. That's the polar opposite style of life, right? So I was like, okay, he figured it out. He's got it. I loved the way he was talking, the way he was speaking, the way he was just performing on a day-to-day basis. And
personality.
Personality. And I said, okay. He said, you know what? I said, like, I'm going to latch on to that. So I had reached out to him, and there's a lot of improvement I wanted to do, right? I had to change my routine. I had to get on a new schedule. I wanted to lose some weight. I wanted to learn how to build a better relationship with my wife. I wanted to learn, you know, a lot of things that I didn't learn in school, you know, or I didn't learn from my parents, that I could provide to my kids, right? And there was just, you know, time management and just how to be happy and maintain that vibration that, you know, is just attracting some real kick-ass and awesome opportunities in people, you know? So with that being said, I just made the leap, and that's why I latched onto him. I had a lot of improving to do, right? I really wanted to turn the leaf, and I wanted to do it properly. So I'm a big believer in hire the experts in their space. You do what you're good at doing, leave them to do what they're good at doing, work together to achieve the best possible outcome, no matter what you're doing, right? So in this case, that's coach.
That's true. It sounds like you went through that transition pretty smoothly from one business to another. And how long are you in mortgage and finance industry right now?
Yeah, so the company was incorporated just over 3 years ago.
Okay.
Right, so I've been in the business for 3 years. I mean, it was smooth in like you look back at it in retrospect and you say, yeah, that wasn't all that tough. But then you put yourself back in the trenches that you were in and where you came from, and you're like, it was tough. You know, it was tough. It was a battle.
Of course.
It was a challenge, and still every day is, right? And but you know, like a challenge that we look forward to face, challenge that we have fun saying, okay, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna be better? How are we gonna show up? You know, how are we gonna continue to scale, right? We have a $1 billion vision with the company. That's what we're gonna hit in regards to our evaluation. So to get there, we got to bring a lot of people on board as well. So, you know, who are these people that we're surrounding ourselves with? What are the systems and processes that we have to put in place so that they can kick ass when they're doing what they got to do? And I tell all my people, you know, like, I'm here, I work for you. I'm here to service you so that you could be the best that you could be, kind of thing, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's not, so I feel like we're still in our infant stages based on where we got to go. So we didn't make it, you know, we're not here and now it's all rainbows and lollipops. We're just going to keep going as hard as it is as when we started, right?
For sure.
Day in, day out.
At this point, like you are saying, you haven't got there yet. Yeah, for sure. You've got high goals, but you guys just opened another branch down in Florida, so business is doing good for sure.
Yeah, oh no, it's good. I'm definitely, no, that's for sure. The business is great. Revenues are great. We're looking at 4x what we did last year. We're on track. We just did our first quarter numbers, and it looks like we're going to 4x what we did last year. So by no means am I saying that business isn't good. Business is booming, but I know that that's all hard work from my team, from my partner, from myself, and that we're able to achieve that, right? So
how did you go about finding your partner and making sure that you guys are aligned, and how you guys divided the workload through what you do, and make sure that you guys push at the same pace, equal levels, and just how that turned out for you?
Yeah, so we, funny story, at the tail end of me being in the nightlife and entertainment industry, he came in and really worked his butt off for my company, and I essentially winged him, and he was my right hand at one point. And when I was exiting, a lot of it was going to be left in his hands to run NRG, which was the promotion company. Some bigger scale events that we were doing, I was going to essentially just leave it all to him and my partner. My other partner on the operations side of things. And I told him, I said, Mikey, I you know, it was a tough conversation, but I said, Mikey, I got to make the exit, right? And I got to do this, and for reasons as to why I named earlier, right? For the kids and the lifestyle change. And man, like we hit it off. Like he was just always like, yeah, Nicky, no problem. You know, he'd say like whatever it is he had to do, he'd get it done. He'd work his ass off day in, day out. And when I told him, he was like, yeah, like I'll come. And I was like I thought he was like drawn to nightlife and entertainment and loved it and was going to do great with it. I was excited to see what he was going to do with it. I was like, finance, like I'm going into finance, bro. Like that's the industry you came out of, you know? And he's like, yeah, he's like, whatever you're doing, I'm doing, you know? So I was like, I was like, all right, bro. I was like, cool, man. And I was like, that's fucking sick that you feel that way. So I'm like, whatever we do, we'll go back to back on. And 50-50 on because of that loyalty, because of, you know, him wanting to stick by my side, because of that faith that he had in me as the older leader, you know, that he was really bouncing off of. So that for me is means the world, right? So yeah, that's how me and Mikey got into this business. Mikey has a business background, right, in a BCom.
Oh yeah.
So he's a very smart guy. His father's an accountant, right, and Wonderful family, amazing background. He's got so many great qualities about him that everyone loves and falls in love with and really gets along with. So it's so nice, you know, to know that that's happening when you're not in that room, because now it's at a point where we're never in the same room. Like even the podcast, he's not hosting anymore because he's doing other big initiatives where it's like if two of us are in the same room at the same time, it's dangerous because we could be a lot better, right? I mean, 21 employees now full time. So, you know, he's got to be in rooms that I'm not, in a nutshell. So
just to give people a background, how many employees you had last year when we first met, roughly?
6.
Yeah, wow.
6. Yeah, that office that me and you did our original meeting in, I gave that up. There's 2 people in there now. I don't even have an office because we capped out in space. And we actually bought a building down the street.
Oh, really?
11,000 square feet that we're now awesome. Renovating because we needed a bigger space, right? And
for sure.
I mean, if you can own it, right? That's the play, right? So we ended up purchasing it, and we're developing it into like a co-working space. Okay. That is going to act as a co-working space, but specifically for the real estate industry. And then we're going to inject the brokerage in there and surround it by other realtors, lenders, lawyers, appraisers, developers, builders. So it's like one big incubator for the real estate industry, right? That's awesome. So everyone can pass each other deals and high five down the hall and stuff. So yeah, but we're busting at the seams at that office that you came by that we met. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you guys are definitely pushing that envelope pretty hard out there. Yeah. And it's amazing to see that you're growing so fast. The goals out there getting higher and higher. And I guess through the partnership and that relationship that you managed to build with your co-founder, is like that's one of the reasons why you guys are so strong and you keep on pushing. And
yeah, for sure. No, it definitely stems from the top, but like always, man, I tip my hat to my team. Like my team's fucking sick. Every one of them are awesome, you know, like they're really good at what they do. And the only reason we're growing at that pace is, yes, it does stem from its leaders, but everyone is just as good as us that's on the team. So it just gets that much more infectious. It just compounds that much more. For sure. And we're all like one big family. We're very proud of one another's accomplishments. We high five each other and we hug each other every day, you know, because we see it, we know it. It's blowing up literally kind of vibe, and everyone's just like, holy smokes. But we stay humble, we stay focused, we keep our heads down. We're always saying we're only as good as our last deal. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what you've done in the past, right? For sure. Same as, you know, like a big, you know, franchise and sports team. That's right. You know, it's like, did you win the last game or did you lose it, bro? That's you know, like. So that's the way we look at it, right? But I blame my team for the success.
With a leader like you and the energy that you are, like one-on-one meetings with you is just giving a completely different vibe that I'm used to dealing with company owners. You walk through the office and there is that great vibe, whatever, everybody is smiling and all everyone is happy, and it's like, yeah, you definitely what we talked about earlier, like leading with love and that being close to the people. And it sounds you are on the right track now there, brother.
Appreciate that, man. That means the world, because it just means the world to me.
Awesome. Great to hear. Yeah. So I got my assumption. We went through my drop with the food. Yeah. Just make sure to try the tiramisu,
I'll do it right now, buddy.
Yeah. Because it's
I didn't know it was dessert time.
You can leave it for later if you want. You can leave it for later because there's still a lot of food if you want to.
Very good. Wow.
On the cultural side, let's round up out here. What are 1 to 3 things that don't worry about it.
I dropped a little tiramisu. I'll clean it up.
No worries. What are like 1 or 3 things that you think because of your Italian background, or that are so Italian that you keep them on the back of your head all the time, on your shoulder, and this is something that you are proud of, but also that make those things, those Italian values that make you successful, do you think?
That's a cool question. I've never been asked that before.
You're gonna get a couple hard questions today, buddy.
Yeah, I think that for such a small landmass, Italy's such a small country, and there's so many beautiful things that have come from it, right? Like they're leaders in the world with fashion. They're leaders in the world with food. They're leaders in the world with sports, soccer.
Sports cars, right? Buddy.
Sports. They're leaders in the world with sports cars, right? Like from that small little fucking piece of land, there's so much good that comes from it. So I think naturally, you know, to perform at a high level or to want to, you know, show up and do your best and be proud of your accomplishments and the work that you're doing is somewhat natural and innate in me, maybe because of that, right? But again, it's the first time I answered the question. But yeah, there's so many things that came from that small little piece of land that are really topping the charts, where it's like something's going on over there, you know? So it's cool,
When I'm listening to you and listening to your story and how you go about business and setting up the goals, the $1 billion valuation that you guys are aiming for, being a 3-year-old company, it is huge, and you growing in such a pace, which is amazing. What I feel is that you are building the same way, even though it's such a exponential growth and you are skyrocketing basically towards it. I think and I feel like you guys are like the Roman Empire builders that built those aqueducts that are still standing in south of France, in Italy, that are still accessible and still are great shape, monumental. Hundreds of thousands of years later, they are still there. That's kind of a build that
very cool. That's I mean, that's a heavy comparison, right? But I'll take it.
Hopefully it's good. The foundations are as strong as those.
Right? Well, you know what? To go to the foundation piece, me and my partner did a year of building out of the foundation before we even put our hands up and said, we can handle your mortgage over here. Or before we hired someone, it was a full year.
So how you went about
So we've only really been transacting for 2 years.
Okay. So first year was trainings for you guys,
first year was like beefing up the education side of things. It was building out the marketing campaign properly. It was going through the business plan with a fine-tooth comb. It was all those things that really, you know, are easy to just breeze by. We paid attention to, and we said, you know, it's not something that we can build to grow to the extent we want it to grow if we don't have a rock solid foundation.
For sure.
So it kind of, in a way, it's different because you just want to hit the ground running and go, right? You want to put out your flyer and you want to say, hey, we're doing mortgages, and you want to start hiring people and you want to start doing all these things that we're doing now. But really, you know, it all stems from the foundation, right? That really deciphers how far you can go up. You know that as a construction guy, right? So with that being said, it was kind of tough to stick it out for that year, and you're pumping all your own dough into it, but
for sure.
And you're kind of like, you want to go, right? But like, it's very important, right? So
preparation makes a whole difference, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because if you wouldn't do your due diligence, market research, pumping out the marketing strategies and plan all the development piece to it, like you can burn yourself pretty fast, first of all, and second of all, how far you can scale if you don't have a foundations, right? Then you can grow pretty fast, you can grow exponential, but then you're gonna hit that point where you, oh shit, we didn't do the work in the beginning, so we need to come back, right?
That's right. You're gonna hit that ceiling, and it's not pretty. Not pretty. I've seen it happen. I've seen projects implode. Right. True. I've seen cultures be twisted upside down. I've seen people be very unhappy, you know, in their workspace, and it's just not the right way to do things. Right. I mean, listen, there's no problem if you want to stay a solopreneur or have a little boutique setup or do any of that. Right. There's nothing against it. Everyone's got different goals, and no one's better than anyone. But if you do have, you know, the wants and the needs and desires to get, you know, with to get up there and a real solid, you know, big evaluation, and big team. And you gotta remember, like, you gotta do it properly from the start, right? You gotta remember too, like, these are grown adults in there that have families to feed at home. That's like when I wake up in the morning and I'm on my way to the office, like, there's a different type of pressure on me, because it's like, man, it's not just that person that's in the office that I'm calling family. Like, their family's my family, because if we don't do well, you know, and they don't have a job, and it's not that they can't go find another one, but that's, you know, like, that's how I think of it, right? Like, it's like, they're bringing the food home, and this job is what provides that food. That's right. There's little mouths that are eating at home. I'm gonna make sure those little fucking mouths eat. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a cool pressure to have, right?
For sure. And as an entrepreneur, you're wearing so many different hats, and at the end of the day, like, we all went through the situation where you, at some point, you have been dealing with an ungrateful employee, or haven't been the best boss ever. I'm guilty of that. I've been an asshole when I started with my first business, one of the first businesses. I didn't know better. I was 21.
Learn along the way.
I was 21. I had 10 guys working for me. All of them, I think 90% of them, way older than me. The only way I knew how to deal with them was just raising my voice and being harsh and being an asshole. And it's not the way, and you learn how as you go, right?
Like anything, right? You learn along the way. And I said to my employees every day, I take accountability. I put my hand up. I said I could have been better. The buck stops at me. So I'm always looking for ways to take on constructive criticism and try to get better. And on the way home, I'll rate myself on how I did that day. You know what I mean? I said, you know what? I could have been better here, and I could have been better there, and I could have done this, and I could have said this that way, and I could have, you know, handled this situation like that. And sometimes, to the extent where I'll call, you know, the employees or my partners, and I'll say, I'm sorry. I could have been better here, you know, and this is what was going on, and this is what led to that, and this is where my head was at, and that's why. However, I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just letting you know where I'm coming from, but I could have been better there, and I take accountability, right? But that's how we learn, you know?
That's humility part is super important, I think, because as long as you can evaluate yourself, you are able to get better. But it's a hard job, right? Just doing it and like going through, what should I do better? Like, what would your next step be from there? Like, you evaluated yourself, you are, okay, I fucked up here. I should have done this. What's your next step?
To actually implement what it is you said you were going to do, and the next time you do it, talk is cheap, you know what I mean? You got to walk it. So you could apologize, take accountability, but then through your actions is where you show that you're truly sorry. So the next time that you're faced with that same situation or a similar one, show up. Show up better, you know?
That's awesome. And you went through, like, the heritage and those foundations and being Roman Empire is been around for a long time. That's for sure. You can find pieces of that all over the Europe, and it's amazing to see, like, still Italian culture is still a really strong influence in the world today, which is super interesting for me in terms of cultural development as well. It's like the Italian diaspora, even in an American setting, in US is huge. In here, there are a couple places around the city, like Woodbridge, for instance, where there's a lot of Italians out there, right? Like, you keep close as well, because it's that family part, familia, which is awesome to see. And being on that side, and also being in a city which is so diverse, what do you think is the most important in terms of, like, thinking about the other cultures, but also, like, being open, acceptable, or inclusive? was the...
I grew up in the city. I grew up at Dufferin and Sinclair, and it was very multicultural.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very grateful for where I was raised and for the fact that it was multicultural, because I think there's so many beautiful things about all the cultures and the people that are within them, and to learn and to understand about as much of that as you can. It makes you diverse as a person, right? And then to understand, appreciate, love, and be all about, representing your culture, I think is even cooler if you could show love and you could show peace and you could work with everyone as well, right? And to understand, where everyone's coming from, is so important, right? It's not just your perception. It's not just the way you want to do things. It's not just to the beat of your drum, right? Like there's everyone to make happy, right? And with that being said, if you don't have that, diversification and understand what that looks like, what that feels like, and have that background, then it would be hard to have a big staff that, has different backgrounds and that come from different places in the world, and that, would be respected by their cultures, and people are looking in and they're saying, okay, well, it's not just Italians working for that company. They have all types of different people, shapes and sizes, and cultural backgrounds, and some gay, some straight. Like, it's just, hey, you know what? They're very open and just accepting of who it is you are at the core, and they embrace that. So if you want to talk about how that looks like for business, it's fantastic, because you're not such a niche market at that point. You're wide open, right? And then on the personal end, it's fun. It's fun. Let's face it. Doing one thing and knowing one thing, no matter how good it is, or no matter how cool it is, or no matter how, wonderful it is, it's boring.
It is. Yeah.
Let's discover. Let's find out a little bit more about what this beautiful world has to offer, right?
And it sounds like because you've got such a diverse team as well, it's like you said, the company itself can be wide open. To different nationality, different people as well. But in the same time, all your people in your team, they can be niche oriented and keep on pounding on their niche that they are good at.
100%.
Building that community.
No problem.
Right?
And then, absolutely.
That's awesome.
It's fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Having your own business and going through it as hard as it wouldn't be, it is definitely fun.
Yeah. So I had to take a little break. That food was too good. I wanted another round.
On the note of embracing your culture, but also being a maverick, what does it mean to you to be a maverick?
So that's an awesome question, right? And it's I think it's something that I'm naturally, right? And I don't try to be a maverick, right? But maybe that's, like breaking the boundaries and doing things and going
the mold.
Yeah. Just kind of different, doing things. I don't want to say to the beat of my own drum, because I like to embrace the beat of everyone's drum, but to the beat of my own drum in the way where it's like, if something was done a certain way before, no matter what sector or industry it is, I don't look at it as gospel. I don't look at it as the only way. I don't look at it as something that is what I got to follow. I could take from it what I like. I could follow the general guidelines and rules, but then, to break through borders and to stretch and push and really test the boundaries is what it would be.
Yeah, awesome. And on that note, then, what would success be for you?
Yeah, success is fulfillment, right? It's being fulfilled on a day-to-day basis. So if you're able to be happy and truly happy, and have fun and love, because that's what we are at our core. In my opinion, that's the definition of success, is fulfillment.
What does it mean to be truly happy in your...
Happy? Yeah, fulfilled.
Okay.
Fulfilled success. I'd keep them all in the same playing field, right? Yeah. But I mean, again, fulfilled success is for me is is to be very content, right? And is just to be at peace with the way things are going. And I most recently, you know, have really, really strengthened my faith and my spirituality, and that's made the world of a difference for me, right? Awesome. I've found my higher power, right? And for that, I will forever be grateful for, and I truly feel fulfilled day in, day out. And even on the tough days, I know that it's gonna be okay, you know. And it's awesome. Yeah,
that you can feel it from your energy that you are going with that happiness through life for sure. And
I appreciate that.
And so being happy, it stems from somewhere.
Yeah.
What's your failure story?
My failure, meaning
like whatever failure that you went through in life.
Oh man, fuck, where do I start? I failed on trying to find the place. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, man, there's been peaks and there's been valleys, and the valleys have been just as low as high as high as the peaks have been, you know? So that being said, it's not all success stories, right?
Yep.
And that's how I learned, you know, that's how I built the thick skin. That's how I became, you know, so much more grateful for things that are so beautiful that I didn't look at underneath that lens before, because you always think it could be better. You always think it could be cooler. You always think it could be more money, or they're more whatever, right? True. Whatever you were chasing at that time. But I had to have gone through those challenges and those valleys and those extremely, extremely tough times and hit the rock bottoms to really be appreciative and grateful for, you know, the good ones, right? Lots and lots and lots and
Any
lots
specific
and
that comes to mind?
With business, with personal,
anything that you
anything specific. I mean, I did a lot of hitting walls when I was younger, trying different things, right? And hitting the walls and trying different things just really led to a lot of me being miserable and frustrated and feeling like a failure, right? Whether that's businesses that didn't work out, whether that's relationships where bridges were burnt, whether that was hardships with old friends, whether that was addictions that had the better of me at times, whether that was, you know, relationship problems that I could have been way better with, right? Just man, you know, just a lot of it all together. But definitely learned from them and feel very grateful for all of them. I wouldn't change a thing. All those fucked up times, all those crazy things that happen, all those millions, I've lost millions of dollars, my friend. You know what I mean? All those friendships that, you know, whatever happened. I wouldn't take back a thing, right? And to go back and you know, these friendships or these relationships that were there, be able to make amends, or to show myself, my wife, the better version of myself, or to apply those losses in business, you know, forward with my current businesses, so I won't make those mistakes again, right? Like, it's beautiful. So that's why I wouldn't take back one of those, even big fuck ups, you know.
That's awesome to hear. And it's usually pretty hard to kind of admit it to yourself that those fuck ups were there for a reason, first of all. Second of all, that you build on top of them, and like you evaluated, you went through them, and you're a way better person than you've been because of them.
100%, man, 100%.
And sure. So from starting with success, you being a maverick, you going through your failures and hiccups and whatever you may call them. What's next there for you?
Next, just continue to move it forward. Keep on scaling the business. Like I said a little earlier, it looks like we're going to do a 4X this year. I'd love to dominate the full state of Florida, take a nice piece of that market share, and then I'm going to move my talents to Turks and Caicos, and then we're going to go to Arizona, and then we're going to go to New York. And we're just going to go pick up a piece of market share in all those markets for sure. Definitely want to make my way around the world, but that's what's next. Let me keep it within somewhat of a 5-10 year timeline. and just continue to rock and roll in those offices with that awesome team and grow it. I want to make all my employees partners on what it is I'm doing and help them build real wealth and real equity as opposed to just salaries and bonuses, and really truly see and watch them grow as people that are going to kick some ass and make some big money as well.
That's awesome.
And then on the personal side of things, man, just keep my health sharp, keep everything, you know, moving in the direction that it's going now. Stay by my kids' side. Spend as much time as I can with them on the evenings, on the weekends. Just be a big part of their lives, you know, and just know what's going on all the time with them and be able to provide them tips and tricks from, you know, the knowledge that I've picked up throughout the years. So at this point, man, I'm very appreciative and grateful and just happy to say that I just continue. I just want things to just continue to move in the direction that they are, right? Awesome. And I'd be a very happy man.
Your goals are pretty substantial, and all the things that you guys are about to accomplish, which is super, as I mentioned earlier, awesome to watch. You mentioned a little bit about the going around the world part. Yeah. Where you want to go, what you want to discover.
Yeah, so just emerge, like markets that are kicking ass, markets that have thriving economies, markets that make it easier for you to move and shake in. There's a lot of restrictions here that, you know, I feel don't really need to be there all the time, right? A lot of hurdles in our way with the big banks and with the way that the financial world moves here. And when I hear what's happening in other markets, and as most recent, I'm finding out about the, you know, the Florida market and what they do in the US, it's like the same amount of effort that you can apply in those areas that we're applying here would take you so much further. And even though as far as it's getting us here, you know, when you want to talk about the bottom line and the margins and, you know, the way that the numbers can look, if the same efforts we're putting in different markets, there's a lot more upside from what it seems, right? And from what we're witnessing right now. So why not want to go there? Why not, right? Like I said, Turks and Caicos, want to get out to Dubai, want to get out to, I'd love somewhere in Europe too, just to you know, say we're there, right? And we will get there for sure. And yeah, I don't even have it all mapped out and planned out, right? I was thinking of doing something cool too, and almost just putting a map on the wall and literally filming it and being like, hey guys, wherever the spin goes, we're going next. And just fucking throw it at the wall and be like, whatever we got to do to make it work, we're going to make it work and go, you know? Because again, right, it's like ready, fire, and then aim kind of mentality, right? Where it's like no analysis by paralysis. You kind of just go, take big action, you know, hit those walls you got to hit, learn along the way, and continue to move it forward, right? So it's when everything's planned out and you get to, you know, too deep in the analytics and the data and the stats and the triggering or the roadmap, it's like, man, you don't know which way the fucking wind's gonna blow tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So if you have a solid business model and a sick team, you can do whatever it is you want. You know what I mean? So if wherever that fucking pin lands, we'll go. You know, I don't know if we're gonna do that because we have the next few planned out, but I think it'd be cool. Maybe we will. I'll bring it up with my partners.
It sounds like you guys are, first of all, it looks like you want to connect personal travel with the business travel.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's always something that's why not hit two birds with one stone, right? Yeah.
I've been always a proponent back between doing a business in Norway. We've been doing some business in Poland as well, and just
nice.
Doing importing, exporting stuff, so it was always fun to go on the business trip just to make sure still having fun, but doing some work as well.
Yeah, of course.
Time, right?
Mix it up, have fun at work, right?
So with those, with that said, and you having so many big goals and you wanting to go different places and setting up new satellite branches and all of that, how you go about setting up goals in your life? Like do you have a structure that you follow?
I write it down.
Okay.
I'm big on The Secret. If you ever listen to the audiobook or read the book, manifesting is huge. Actually feeling like you're already there, envisioning it, moving towards it with that energy, knowing it's going to happen. But I write it down. And then there's so many goals, but the bigger goals I'll write down. And then there'll be roadmaps on how to get there, and org charts, organizational charts, and you know, just standard stuff, right? Okay. Yeah.
It might be standard for you.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah,
right?
yeah. Write it down and manifest it. Envision it like you're already there, and truly, you know, just understand you will get there. That's it. Yeah, and the universe starts to work in your favor. It starts to make it happen.
Yeah, the pieces come together.
Yeah,
right?
they do. It's a true thing.
And you are saying about the energy, the vibration on the certain frequencies or going that direction. Yeah. All aligns, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm witnessing it. I manifested this where I'm at right now.
Cool.
In business and what's happened to me in my family life, and awards that I used to, like in the Toronto nightlife industry, I was award winning every year, 9 years in a row, best promoter of the year. Last 3 years I was in the industry, I won nightclub owner of the year. Nice. You know, at the Toronto Nightclub Awards, and I had envisioned myself on the stage and holding it up and doing a little speech and being a nightclub owner and having 3 kids, like, you know, just really putting myself there, right? Now even more so than ever. Now I've read the book. Now I understand it. Now I know the principles. Now I live and breathe it every day. I believe it, you know? So, big believer in that.
Awesome. So, on the note of books, tell me, what are 3 books that everybody should read?
Yeah, so definitely The Secret. I like the 48 Laws of Power, but take that with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? And again, right, you got to bring love into that, because it can get pretty vicious in certain areas. But it depends on the way that you perceive it, right? And I mean, this isn't for everyone, but Business for Dummies is actually a really good book, and it shows you the fundamentals of business. So it's actually, it may sound like a funny title and think that it's very junior-ish, but I'm still learning stuff from that book sometimes when I pick it up and give it a read, right?
Yeah.
Not a big book guy, not a big reader. I like audiobooks, right? And that's how I get down. And I like YouTube videos. I like podcasts. I really like align with a few guys that I just listen to their stuff as gospel, you know, and it's applied it to my life and worked for me. But those are 3 books. Yeah.
Who are those guys on the podcast side?
Yeah, so I like Patrick Bet-David's badass. I like Bedros Koulian. He's really, really cool. I've been listening most recently to a little bit of Dr. Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza's fantastic. And David Howe, right? He's really cool. And then I just like YouTube inspirational speeches. Matthew McConaughey's got a badass one when he talks to a university when they're graduating. It's like, holy smokes, bro, it blew me out of the water. And I'll just re-listen to that. And then just like speeches that pump you up, you know, like they just like when you're done listening to it for 10 minutes, you just feel so good. And like, I'm just lucky to be able to lift my head off this pillow today, man, you know? True. Yeah. So little bits and pieces like that. But, Alex Hormozi. Yeah, he's just so systematic, and he's just like repetition, and he's just like, he breaks everything down and just like makes it easy. And I love systems and processes because it's one of my weaknesses. So I find that I admire the people who know how to put them in place, as some of my staff do, right? And I'm just like, oh, that's the coolest thing, right? Some of the stuff that I'm kind of naturally good at or innate with, I'm like, whatever, right? But then the things I'm not, I'm infatuated by, right? Because I don't know it.
That's awesome, because this way you can improve, right? Instead of sitting in this, like being comfortable where you are, you constantly push it,
pushing
right?
the boundaries. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Sure.
A lot of those guys that you mentioned, I listen to myself, and I follow as well.
Sweet.
It's they provide a lot of value. I definitely agree. So since you've been you are following a lot of those guys who are talking about the tribe and people, the team. You have your great organization and people, your guys are growing. Do you, like, besides that workspace, do you see yourself as a community person?
Yeah, big time. That For me, I want to give back my whole life. I always want to give back. Whatever I have to give that I feel is what I can't afford to give, I'm going to give. You know, whenever I have anything to contribute, like I said, that I can, I will. We donate to Aura Freedom, which is a big charity. Which is a small charity with a big vision that fight child trafficking and battered women. And I love them. And my cousin Marissa, it's a non-for-profit organization. We donate to them every year. Then breast cancer research. And those foundations, some of them are a little bit more niche than others. And I wore a shirt for 30 days straight last year. It was called Support the Shirt. I couldn't take the shirt off for 30 days. Wow. And there was a GoFundMe link attached to it. And to keep the shirt on my back, you'd have to donate. So I wore it it's actually framed. It's in the office, in the hallway if you walk by. Yeah, cool. Like where you'd put one of those jerseys in those glass cases, and the shirt's in there. All right. And so big community guy, my excuse me, the pasta. The Spark Invitational, my company golf tournament, we donate any event that I have, any chance that I have to give, donate, give back, help those that are less fortunate, right? That's and awesome. Really try to make this world a better place. I look to do that too with the big evaluation. That's not so I can line my pockets and start flying around the world in 747 jets, you know? Like it's so that I can go do some real work, roll up my sleeves and help people that are less fortunate in third world countries and in areas that they can't help themselves, you know? I want to do a lot of that missionary stuff, right? Awesome. And just kick ass with the other awesome human beings that don't have the opportunity that we do. True.
Like we are definitely fortunate to live the way we live, the country that we live in, and having the opportunities to be able to move and go and do whatever we please to with our life, with our time. Not everybody has that opportunity, right? So on the note of that work, actually, do you feel that besides your network you have a tribe around yourself?
Yeah, for sure. That's the conscious community, the personal development tribe that I've now, gained and can call my friends, right? A lot of interesting characters that are doing awesome work. They just want to develop. Everyone's at a different stage. Everyone has a different little, game plan in motion, but they just want to be better human beings on an overall. So that's definitely a new tribe that I've gained. A lot different from the tribe that I was around in nightlife and hospitality. Yeah. And it's aligned with where I'm at in my life right now, and I'm very grateful for them. Yeah, a lot of all just healthy stuff, man. Meditating, breath work, cold tubs, saunas. Just lots of good stuff. I just got back from a personal development journey in Costa Rica, where there was 3 workshops a day. So you're out there and you're just getting better, and you're working with professionals that are there that are just helping you be the best possible version of yourself, right?
That's amazing.
So, sick tribe.
It's super important to keep on improving and not staying stagnant, and just, as you say, pushing the boundary, pushing the envelope, but also just going outside of your comfort zone, because that's how we get better, right? On a note of a tribe, how would you go about helping someone from that tribe feel that they belong more in that tribe? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't have them drink it. So I feel like there's a lot of people that when they're ready, they've reached out and I've plugged them into my ecosystem. And I'm always more than willing in putting myself out there and letting people know that I'll do that. But I'm not forceful in a way where I try to preach it or I try to come on heavy with it. If you want it, it's there. I'd be happy with open arms to introduce you to who and what I know. Right? Awesome. Yeah. That's a definitely amazing attitude and approach towards because at the end of the day, if people are, or that person is not ready for it, you cannot force them. They will. There need to be time for everybody for certain level of development, and I see it through myself. Like, I can read a book that I read 10 years ago that I understood 5%. Today I can understand 80.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's
so
completely
true.
different things, right?
So true.
It just resonates with you differently through your level of development that you went through, right?
Yeah.
And the challenges.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What is it about what you do that you would like to people to understand more, like public to understand what you guys are about and like the main?
Yeah, so we're a full service mortgage brokerage, and we have access to so many different products, so many different lenders, and we're really, really, really a one-stop shop when it comes to all your mortgage needs. Whether it's a purchase, a refinance, a renewal, a bridge, whether it's residential, commercial, agricultural, construction, we do it all. And anything that you need, we'll make it happen. Any dot we can connect, we got you. We add a very white glove service style of approach that comes from my hospitality background.
Yeah.
That's just, we'll bend over backwards just to get it, whatever it is you need, we got you kind of thing, you know? We take everything with again, constructive criticism and feedback with no ego, right? And we really dumb down a lot of the conversation around the finance piece and the mortgage piece. We leave the acronyms out and we just speak to you like a regular human being and have you understand it. And we felt like coming into the finance industry was very intimidating for a lot of people to transact with these, you know, individuals and these people that were in the space, simply because of the fact that they didn't understand it. So to make it understandable makes it relatable. And then when it's relatable, we're on the same page. It just seems to be a lot cooler, and people really appreciate that, right?
For sure.
So I definitely think, you know, mortgages, anything with the word mortgage, we got you. White glove service, always, all day, every day. And we keep it very simple, so you'll understand what we do.
Removing the fluff and keeping the core.
Yeah, the fuck's the point? What do we need all that fucking fluff in there for, right? Let's get to the point.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. And that's definitely one thing that you can say about every maverick. Like, people who are mavericks go to the point pretty fast. That doesn't work all the time, but most of the time is definitely saving a lot of time with the people who value their time. Pretty highly. Are you ready for some questions that I can throw at you?
Yeah, go for it. Anything.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client? Anyone that needs a mortgage.
Awesome. Okay. And easy one. What you do for fun?
Fuck, everything I do, I have fun with, right? But I mean, personal hobbies, I like hockey. Okay. I like going to the gym, and I like funny shit, right? I like watching funny videos, and I'm gonna start going to comedy shows because in my retirement, I want to do a lot of that.
Awesome.
Yeah, just film funny videos.
That's fun. Yeah. What's your biggest problem?
My biggest problem? I'd love to be 6 feet and I'm only 5'8". Wow. So I keep buying these shoes that give me 2 inches, but I think that's my biggest problem right now. No, I mean, all jokes aside, my biggest problem, I feel sometimes the past comes back to haunt you, and some of these things you've made a personality trait because they've been on your mind for so long, and to break out of those old habits. And I think like those old neurological pathways that have been carved so deeply, right? To stay, away from them is tough, right? I mean, there's an example would be just thoughts, just memories, just addictions that used to be there that aren't anymore, and that, I have arrested, and that's been years under my belt that I don't have a problem with anymore. But, I used to have a problem drinking, right? Because I was in the clubs so often. I was there 5-6 times a week, and whenever you'd come into the club, you'd want to have a drink with me, or you'd want to buy me a drink, or I'd want to buy you a drink. And when you know half the club, that's a lot of drinks, right? Yeah, so sure. You build up a tolerance for it, and then as you build up a tolerance for it and you're doing it day in, day out, it becomes a problem. The problem became an addiction, right? An addiction of which, I had to have a lot of, effort put into arresting, right? Yeah. And those are things that, they don't haunt me, right? But if I did say I have an ongoing problem, it's to keep them arrested, right? Because what they can do in regards to cause damage in my life moving forward, or just not have me perform at the level that it is I am now, is scary, because I'm so happy where I am. I have so many people that rely on me on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, not only my family and my kids and my wife, but all those people that are at work. Yeah. All the people that I'm working with on the development side of things, all the, the charities I'm involved with, all the awesome people I get to meet and show up for, right? So like, I'm so grateful for it all. That's my problem. If I were to ever go back, how would my life look? I wouldn't even be able to imagine or picture that. So if you want to call that a problem, right? That I always have to make sure I keep arrested. It's an ongoing challenge, right? But I mean, builds character, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Are you, if you're cool with answering it, we can leave it. But, no problem. Are you completely not touching it? Or?
No, nothing. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any drugs, I don't gamble, I don't do any of that. Like, it's been years, right?
Totally behind you. You closed the chapter and left it out there. Yeah,
I've surrendered, right? The biggest step is surrendering to the fact that you cannot anymore, right? You would abuse it. Surrender and rely on the higher power to take that pressure off you, right? It was my rock bottom, and that's how I found God. Awesome. Yeah, and like I said before, I wouldn't take a thing back. So I'm glad I had all those good times in the club. that come with some crazy stories, But again, experiences led me to where it is I am today, and I'm very grateful for that.
Amazing. Yeah, it's this, as we spoke on the beginning, the struggles makes you stronger, and just makes you who you are, a better human being, right? Yeah, for sure. Those smaller or bigger failures that you need to go through.
Yeah. And I remember there was so long that I don't talk about it. I don't talk about it, and it's not that I try to avoid it. It's just it's so far behind me that, it's very rare that it comes up in convo. And right now I could speak from the scar, not the wound, right? Where at the time when I was going through it and I was having a tough time arresting it and staying away from it, that was the wound. Would have been tougher to talk about it, but now it's not. It's nice, it's easy, right? It's because it's from the scar.
Yeah, you basically work it through, and this at this point is something that was your experience, but it's no longer is. It's in a history part, right? Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
That might be a one that might be in your lane. What are the financial tricks knowledge, tax strategies, incentives, laws, whatever you one or a couple of things that you wish you learned earlier during your business career?
Yeah, good question. So as much money as you could borrow it, as long as it's good debt and you know how to offset what it is you're paying for in interest. So if you're borrowing money at 5% and you know what you're doing with it on the other end and you can make 6%, borrow it. So it doesn't even matter how high the interest is sometimes, as long as you can beat it out on the other end. And that's what the wealthy people do. They borrow more money and they lend it out, right? Or they do projects with it that they can get much better return than what they're paying for it. That's number one. Number two is, tax strategy. Rely on your accountant, man. Everyone's got a different tax strategy. It depends on what you're doing. But if you really dial in, with a good accountant and get, down and dirty with a strategy that works for your business and for your income and for your ecosystem, then you can avoid paying taxes, right? Because essentially the government just wants you to keep the money in the economy and employing people and spending it back in the economy to keep it, stimulated. So, if people think they're avoiding taxes or they're getting around the government, and it's kind of like not really the case. They're keeping it in the economy. So for the most part, if you're keeping it in the economy, right? So for the most part, find a good tax strategy, and that's with your accountant, right? That works for your business, and don't pay taxes.
Yeah, that's one of the most important ones. Just going as low as possible on that front. Yeah. What technology, relationships, tools you use to did you leverage to speed up the process of success? Yeah,
so social media platforms, all of them, we have firing, right? So LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, we have content moving on all of them. It's just a big content game. It's more the quantity and then quality, right? But just keep it firing, stay in people's faces, stay relevant, be tasteful while you're doing it if you can, right? And that's
if
number one. Yeah, if you can, right? If you have it in you, right? Be tasteful. Number two is Monday.com. Our CRM system keeps our systems and processes very sharp.
Awesome.
Our staff swears by it. And for the communication aspect in the office, it keeps everyone connected and feeling, very good about being on the same page. Because when you're running a big operation, if you're not in communication with each other steady and having, these face-to-face, belly-to-belly meetings, but even more importantly, leveraging that tech, you're in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's the two big ones for you.
Yeah, two big ones. Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for two big ones?
Always.
Good. What question would you like to be asked more often?
What do I like? Okay, sorry.
What question would you be like to be asked more often?
What question would I like when people ask me?
Yeah.
Fuck, I liked all your questions, bro.
Yeah, but if you can be selfish for a moment and try to think from your perspective, because...
ask me about my love for my kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like,
That's the first one?
Yeah, it's too special.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. What have been the greatest day of your life?
Greatest day? When my daughter was born. My first daughter. Yeah, and then the second and third tie for the first. But yeah, when my daughter came out of my wife's womb.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why it was so special for you?
Oh, fuck, man. That's you. It's you being reborn. And you get to teach them about all the mistakes that you made and not to make them again, right? And it's just, it's the work of God. It's the way like the human anatomy and how that happens, the cycle of life, knowing that that's what you're going to leave behind one day, right? And knowing that you're going to do as good as a job as you can, giving them everything that they need to do the best they can for the world, and leaving that behind. I mean, what greater feeling? True. Yeah, it's just filled with love. I remember the love that came in the four walls that day. It was just like, she came out of the womb, and it was like, the water came down the eyes, I'm laughing, smiling, but just crying, the emotions. Never had anything that fucking vibrant and special happened to me on an emotional level. Boom, 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 all three of them, Never forget that feeling, unparalleled.
Amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick, it was a great conversation. Thank you for coming, and thank you for being a part of this show. Yeah. It was a pleasure being hosting you here today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. This was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed all those questions thoroughly. I have a smile on my face. My belly is full, and you welcomed me into your warm, beautiful, amazing home. And I'm very grateful for this experience. So thank you. And this podcast is going to kick some serious ass because you're leading it with love and passion. And that's what it all comes down to, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate kind words.
For sure.
And it's a wrap. We dare you. If you are bold enough, hit subscribe, repost the rebellion, and don't miss out on next week's episode. It's going to be bloody brilliant. See you on the next one.